What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel, John here, and today I've got a video that kind of talks a little bit about my running routine, what I eat before and after, things like that. And actually this video is in direct response to, sorry if I get your name wrong, the pronunciation, but it is FranzisVeganLife, I think. I believe you're from Germany, so I'm hoping that I've pronounced that correctly. If not, you know who I mean. But anyway, this viewer left a comment on the latest vlog on, what's it called now? Conscious Life Vlogs, which used to be Our Conscious Life. And asking, yeah, basically like, you know, what do I do? What's my routine? Do I have a plan? Do I have a certain goal before I go out for a run? Or also, what do I eat before and after? So I'm going to address some of those things here today, and hopefully you guys find this a little bit interesting or helpful. So as far as what I plan to do when I go for a run, you know, whether I have like a routine or anything like that, I work Monday to Friday, day shift, so I know that I've got my weekends free, so that really helps clear things up what I'm going to do on the weekends. And I know that I've got evenings free as long as, you know, the weather's good or it's not too dark, if it's the right time of year. And we're kind of getting into that now in April, so really, since I started running, I've pretty much had like a plan. I've been using Strava and I've been following a training plan. First I did a 5K plan, then a 10K plan, and now I'm doing a half marathon training plan. So it's kind of regimented for me. You know, I kind of know what I'm going to be doing, or at least what I should be doing on each day if I'm going to be following the plan for that specific program. I can't always follow it because, you know, weather, work restrictions, you know, all kinds of things can come up, but generally I do, you know, a run on those days, or if I have to mix things around a little bit, it's not that big of a deal, but I know I've got my weekends free. So typically what's going to happen in my week for running is I'm going to do 4 or 5 runs in the week, and I know that it's pretty much going to be like Monday is a rest day. That's just the way it is. Tuesday is going to be like a workout or more like higher tempo run. Wednesday is kind of like a rest day or, you know, small little run. Thursdays, because I've been bowling in a league with a friend of mine, my Thursday evenings have been kind of tied up. So here's where I've kind of had to, you know, change things up a little bit. Typically on the Strava plans that I follow, Thursday's kind of a second workout or a second up-tempo run. And I generally can't squeeze that in after work and before bowling. So I've been kind of switching it up with Friday. So Friday is another one of those days where it's like a rest day or a run easy or cross train kind of a day. And so depending on what happened with Thursday, I'll usually make up for some of that there. And then, so Saturday is just kind of like a short run usually. And then Sunday is the long run day, you know, the dedicated long run day where you try to get in your longest run of the week just to log miles on your feet and get used to, you know, doing distance and just time on your feet. So that's why Monday's a rest day. Now with all of that said, I do not always follow this because some days I get up and I'm like, hey, today's supposed to be just an easy little 40-minute run or half-hour run or whatever it is, but you know, maybe I haven't been able to follow my plan all week, or maybe I'm just feeling really good that day, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out for a little bit of a longer run, and instead of doing the higher intensity, maybe I'll dial it back a little bit and maybe run for like an hour or an hour and 15 or something like that. If I was competitively racing, like I do have a half marathon coming up in 2 weeks, and it's going to be my first one. Although I have run the distance before, this will be the first time I'm actually running it in a race environment. But if I was running competitively, then I probably would, you know, stick to these programs a lot more strictly and make sure that I'm getting the best out of these plans, because, you know, these are developed by people who know what the hell they're talking about. But since I'm just kind of doing this recreationally and, you know, like semi-seriously, there's a little bit of leeway there. So anyway, that's kind of like my routine, but I know I'm gonna run on the weekends, and I know that if I haven't been able to get out during the week, that's where I'm gonna log most of my miles. As far as what I eat or drink before I run or after I run, today is a good example. Today I got up, it's Saturday morning, and was feeling really good. You know, I had a cup of coffee, didn't have any breakfast, and just went out and ran like 4 miles, 6.3 kilometers or something, just kind of locally along one of the streets here, hit a couple of hills, and I took some water with me and just put it at a place that I was going to be passing, you know, as I was going back and forth on the road. I was going to be passing that point, so I just left my water bottle there. And yeah, sometimes a fasted run is, you know, when I get up first thing in the morning without waiting too long, it's a great way to wake up and a great way to start the day. But generally speaking, for a run that's less than, you know, an hour maybe, I don't really like concern myself with what I'm eating beforehand. Like, I don't make sure that I've recently eaten something so that I've got the energy for that run. Because really, you know, to me at this point, after about 8 months of running now and you know, building up my mileage and stuff, I don't really feel like I need that boost for that short of a run. But when I get back, I make sure that I do eat something right away. I mean, generally speaking, you know, there's lots of research out there and there's lots of different opinions and approaches that you could find online. But generally speaking, most people will agree that you want to try to make sure you eat something within about a half an hour of a pretty good workout. You know, maybe a run that's at least a half an hour in length or something. You should probably eat something after that. Obviously you want to hydrate afterwards, even if you've been, you know, taking drinks of water as you go. But kind of like a lower fat, you know, mostly like kind of a carb and protein mix to get that back in the system, to refuel and give your body a little bit of protein to start rebuilding and healing those muscles that you've been working. So I do generally try to eat within about a half an hour of coming home from a run. Now when it gets into longer runs, that's when, especially in the morning, like Sunday, my long run usually starts at 9 a.m. So I'll make sure that about a half an hour to an hour before I start running, I have usually a couple of pieces of whole wheat toast with some peanut butter, or maybe a banana and some peanut butter, but something that's not really high in fiber, because of course, something that's high in fiber, you might need to go use the washroom. And if you're in the middle of an hour and a half, 2 hour run, you definitely don't want to need to use the bathroom in the middle of that. So it's a good thing when you're going out for a longer run to make sure that you've kind of prepared your digestive system accordingly, and whatever that means to you, you know. But definitely having something like a banana, some peanut butter, something like that, that's going to be, you know, 300-400 calories maybe, pretty high in protein and carbs, but not necessarily high in fiber. Maybe even a little bit of fat, that's fine. Yeah, and that's all I really need. Now, as far as having indigestion or heartburn, I know that for me, bananas and stuff like that doesn't hurt. Even like a toast with jam or something doesn't hurt. That might upset somebody's stomach, so you kind of have to you should wait at least a half an hour to make sure that kind of settles in your stomach a little bit. But you'll have to just go with practice and see what works for you. And, you know, maybe you get a little bit of indigestion or some heartburn as you're running. Maybe that particular food just isn't right for you and you have to try something else. But always after a run is when I really worry the most about fueling up. You know, I come home, have my shower, make sure that I'm drinking the water that I would have. Usually I'll weigh myself after a long run too, like before and after. So if I've lost, you know, a couple of pounds while I'm out running on a 2 hour run, then I pretty much know that, like, okay, I've lost a lot of water. And so I start, sorry guys, my phone just started to die, so just need to hit the button. Now it's gonna wobble a little bit, but okay. Anyway, I'll wrap this up. I always hydrate afterwards, and usually I'll bring water with me for anything over 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, fueling up afterwards is the most important in my opinion, because that's where your body is going to need that replenishment. You know, for me, if I go out and I run 15K, well, that's like 12 or 1300 calories I'm burning off obviously I need to carb up. I need to get protein in my body to start fixing the muscles. And so generally speaking, I'll have like, you know, rice is really good. I like making this rice and chickpea kind of curry sort of dish, maybe some potatoes in there as well. You know, whatever you like really, but definitely higher on the carb and protein side. I mean, generally I don't eat very much fat in my diet anyway. I'm kind of like, say, 60, 20, 20, or somewhere in that range from carbs, protein, and fat. But your recovery meal probably doesn't need much fat because it's not doing anything, and then you're not going to burn it because you've already gone out for your exercise. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up instead of this being too long, but thanks very much for the question. Again, I hope I got your name right. I'll leave a link to that video in probably a card and also in the description below. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, need any more information, or want me to answer a different question, by all means feel free to ask and I will do so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Peace.